Fearscape Media Network, exploring the unknown, one podcast at a time.
The SCP multiverse is under constant assault, and destruction can come at any moment. Therefore, having just one database is a folly the Foundation can no longer accept. Join Dr. Kevin Milgram and SCP-073, Kane, as they create an oral history of the SCP Foundation, in Memories of Kane, an SCP story, hosted by Daniel Doremus. For should the Foundation fall, the unkillable first murderer of man will live on. New episodes drop every second Wednesday of the month on the Fearscape Media Network. Visit fearscapemedia.com for more information.
Hey everyone, Ray Robinson here, host of the Unsensitive Podcast. You're probably wondering, what does unsensitive mean? Well, it's a completely made-up word to define a topic that is insensitive to talk about at family gatherings and parties, but you talk about them anyway. It's a podcast that you can send your most clueless family members to save them the embarrassment of asking these questions themselves. New episodes drop every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m., part of the Fearscape Media Network, because quite honestly, what's scarier than facing your own misconceptions about the world around you?
This episode of Misters of the Dark takes place December 30th, 2020.
Coming to you from nowhere, a suburb of parts unknown, your ghoulish hosts for an evening of terror, Stefan Gearhart and Lance Wayne, the Misters of the Dark.
Good evening, dear friends! Welcome to another terrifying episode of Misters of the Dark, the greatest horror podcast in the history of horror podcasting. As always, we're beaming directly to you from nowhere, a suburb of parts unknown. I'm your co-mister, the man with no name, Lance Wayne.
And I am your headmister, Lord Stefan Gearhart.
And I'm glad you caught us when you did. For you see, with the abomination that was the year 2020,
Piece of shit.
me and Stefan have been devising a way to go after the ultimate kill, so to speak.
Now we understand that when saying it out loud, the idea comes off as a little abstract. But believe us when we say this plan is foolproof.
So, with all that being said, dear friends, let's cut to the chase and come right out and say it. We are going to kill 2020.
Yes, but before you laugh at us, hear us out. We have been up to our elbows in nothing but New Year's lore.
Yes! In fact, through painstaking analysis and research, we've come to the realization that at the end of every year, a ceremony is held in Times Square, where the previous year takes on a physical form in order to pass the reins on to the following year.
We have decided that when this act is taking place, we are going to catch 2020 off guard and put that little old bastard out of all of our miseries.
Exactly!
But hold on, Lance. Before we do this, don't you think we should reflect on some of the good offerings 2020 had? It wasn't all bad.
You're kidding.
No, come on. Let's take a break and reminisce on some of the best horror in 2020.
All right. Oh, Stefan, or Lord Stefan, I should say.
Yeah, it is official, Lord Stefan.
It is
100% official. I am nobility, and that's why I demand that we just talk about our top 5 favorite horror things from 2020. That's the least we can do for all of our fans out there.
True. But shouldn't we sit back and reflect a little bit on how, in this, the age of Misters of the Dark podcasting, how lucky we are to be in such a time?
We are. Though I don't like this time because there is a virus that is out there killing people and we aren't doing the killing. It's getting a better rep than we do.
Oh, you're such a downer. But yes, you are right. So, okay. Let's do
top 5. Okay.
All right.
So we're going to be talking about our top 5 favorite things of horror. So this could be anything. This can be books. It can be movies, TV, anything. It doesn't matter as long as it's
your in-laws.
Your in-laws. No, because I don't want to be like, oh, the presidency or crap like that. But
yeah, true.
Our favorite things. And so I guess I'll go first if that's okay, since I am nobility here.
Oh God.
My number 5 was Netflix and BBC came out with a brand new TV show based off of Dracula.
Yes.
It was different. It was refreshing and it was phenomenal. It wasn't the same old crap that we always see. And don't get me wrong, it's not crap. Dracula is a fantastic story, but this just kind of changed everything. It's just fascinating. I really, really enjoyed this Dracula a lot.
I haven't. I've seen parts of it. I haven't sat down and watched the whole thing though.
It is 100% well worth watching. Kleiss, I think his name's Kleiss or Kleiss Bang. He plays Dracula and he's scary as shit.
Really?
Like, it's almost like it's the first time in a long time where it feels more like Christopher Lee again. It's horrific. And it's not like overly like horrific like Dracula 2000 or something like that. He's still this like smarmy guy. He's still all that stuff, but he is just frightening. He's absolutely frightening. There's like nuns that are in this, like that are like seeing visions and like all kinds of stuff. Harker is like barely in it. He's in the very beginning. Like the brides are huge in this. Like, I mean, this thing is phenomenal. It's literally one of my top shows of the year, and I can't wait for a second season.
Wasn't it like everybody knew he was Dracula? It was like legit, like if Dracula like existed,
Well, the thing is that there's a time difference because like Dracula comes out of his coffin at a beach like 123 years later.
Yeah.
So like that's
Van Helsing ties him up or something.
Yeah, and so like season 2 is really, I think, going to explore him being in modern time. And like it's just because Zoe is I believe she is the ancestor of Dr. Van Helsing. She's the ancestor, and it's just really, really cool. There's like this whole thing where like you're wondering if like the person that's in the hospital is crazy, like like I believe it's Harker, and they're talking about like because this was literally a year ago. This was January. It was like the first week of
January. Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Harker turns into, I think, a vampire or something, and he lets Dracula come into the room, killing all these freaking nuns. Like,
good God,
crazy, dude. Like, it's insane. It was so awesome, and the nuns knew about it. There's a lot of magic that exists in this. Like, it's dark, it's scary. It's only 3 episodes for the first season. I believe they're longer episodes, maybe like 2-hour episodes, kind of like how they did with Sherlock.
Yeah.
But good God, it's good, man. I love it because here it says that the writers say Dracula in their version is the hero of his own story. And their version of Dracula is both faithful and faithless at the same time. And I love that because they take certain things from the original story, but they do add a lot of new stuff that, like I said, is absolutely refreshing. And he's not, they said that he is bisexual, but he's not really doing a lot of sex in. He's bi-homicidal. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Killing them, not dating them. He's not actually having sex with anyone. He's just drinking their blood.
Yeah.
And so it's like again, refreshing. It's not just about sex. It's not just the same old story. It's a brand new take on it, and it's just, man, I really liked it.
I guess I never really checked it out because I was hearing a lot about it, and I was hearing as much as I was hearing about how well it was, how well it was done and everything. I was also hearing about how stupid it was.
I don't know. It got a 70% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's with 54 critic reviews. Got an average rating of 7 out of 10. I mean, 75 out of 100 on Metacritic. It's done really well. It's won awards as well.
I mean, is there even talk of a second series?
Oh yeah, there's going to be a second season. So
I guess COVID just hit it or something.
Yeah, and I've really enjoyed BBC partnering with Netflix and a couple other things. They've been doing that a lot lately, and man, the stuff they've been coming out with has been phenomenal. There's really good War of the Worlds that came out. It was partnered with maybe Stars, I think, and that was really good.
And they did that Christmas Story too, didn't they?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah,
or Christmas Carol, a Christmas Carol.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. That one was scary and good, and just what the Christmas Carol needed to be. Like, I forgot about that. That was like 2019 or 18, right? But yeah, this was filmed in Slovakia. I mean, it's just I highly recommend it to anyone who loves vampires and loves Dracula. This is it. The cast is absolutely phenomenal. You'll notice a lot of these actors from other British shows and stuff. And like, where did I know Claes Bang from? What else was he in? I don't know. He was in some other stuff that I've seen before. But he's good, and he's even a theater actor, and he's just well worth your time. I'm gonna say it over and over again because
dude looks like Dracula.
Now that I'm revisiting it, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot how good this was.
Oh, I'll have to check it out then.
Yeah, please do. It's really good. So yeah, that's my number 5. What's your number 5?
My number 5. It's a little silly, but I mostly put it as number 5 just because it was the most recent. But I ended up watching it twice over the holiday season.
The holiday season.
Yeah. And we were talking, it's been a while ago, but I realized that you actually checked it out too. It was the Joe Bob Saves Christmas special.
Yes. I was gonna just mention Joe Bob in general. I think he's had a huge comeback in 2020.
He has.
It started, I think, in 2019, but like I've been noticing more and more people talking about Joe Bob. Shudder, of course, is blowing massive sunshine up his ass. The Saves Christmas was fantastic.
It was so good. Like in the film, like the films they picked. Like I got kind of worried because I was like, people are gonna think we did Christmas Evil just because fucking Joe Bob showed.
I know. I thought that too.
But we did see that before Joe Bob. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before that was released.
Came out. Yeah.
But it was just awesome because I just listened to our Christmas episode. We loved that film, To the Moon and Back. It was.
And I'll recommend to people that don't have Shudder yet. AMC Plus just dropped. It's a new app that has AMC, but it has like a ton of other channels merged with it. So Shudder is one of them because that's
really
brand.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Shudder is in it. Sundance is in it because we just watched Dez, which is a 3-part limited miniseries. David Tennant plays the serial killer.
I've heard of that.
Dennis Nielsen, and man, that was messed up good. Like he was messed up. But that's on Sundance. I was able to watch it because I was doing the week trial of AMC Plus. But yeah, I think I might keep AMC Plus and scratch Shudder. But I do like Shudder's. I love Shudder's menu. And of course, you lose that anytime you use Shudder on anything that isn't Shudder. But yeah, it's got like 3 or 4 different other things that are a part of AMC Plus. Plus, you get all the AMC stuff like Walking Dead and all of that stuff. So it's kind of well worth it. I think it's like $7.99 a month or something like that. So it's not bad.
Well, thank you for AMC Plus for sponsoring us. But
yes, I wish.
But back to Joe Bob. I don't know, man. And if you listen to the Antagonist and All Villain podcast, it just so happens to be on the Fearscape Media Network.
And it's a great show, by the way.
Thank you. But we in I believe it was the Grinch episode. I mean, I talk about how I don't really care for Christmas. I just don't.
Yeah.
I'm not a jerk where I'm like, well, I'm not buying anybody anything, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, for me to dislike Christmas so much, I loved this special so much. Just because that first film, and I don't want to go too into it because I feel like that might be the Christmas film for next year. But Deadly Games.
Yeah. I would be down to do that for sure.
Oh my God, was that just the most bonkers, batshit, brilliant Christmas film?
Tell us how you really feel.
it's oh God, it's just so crazy. And did you watch the part where Joe Bob, you know, he's discussing the film and he talks about how was it Chris Columbus who wrote Home Alone? But did you
yeah, I think it is Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, how the director of Deadly Games was going to sue him because he said he ripped Home Alone off of the film. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's the same thing. It's like Troll 2 or Troll 1. The kid's name is Harry Potter, and he wears these round glasses, and and he has to do all this magic stuff. And then there's, of course, a book that also, you know. But I mean, it's like that shit just lives in our collective consciousness.
Yeah, man, I mean, it's just serendip, you know, just derpity.
Oh, derpity.
You know, and I loved it. Really touched me because, you know, Joe Bob, I mean, he seems like a really genuinely nice guy already. I mean, he does, but, you know, he does kind of give off this
douchey.
Well, not douchey, but like tough.
Arrogant. Yeah, tough. Well, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Texan. But did you get to the part where he reads that fan letter?
Yeah, I read the whole thing. I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, and he got teared up.
Yeah.
Oh, that got to me. I thought that was so sweet.
And your girl's on there.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And if any excuse to see Darcy the male or girl, hubba.
If anyone has any connections to Darcy, Lance would love you.
I would love to marry you. Yes, even though you're vegan. I'm kidding. I keyed. But
yeah. So if we kill a vegan and eat them, are we eating vegan? Is that healthy?
That sounds like something I heard earlier today. Was like, if we're made up of 70% water, when we drink water, does that mean we're cannibals?
Is that right? Or that classic move: if you eat a clown, does it taste funny?
Oh, but he's back. He's back, ladies and gentlemen.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed Mr. JB. Like, I'm super pumped to have him back. But it makes me wish more would come back because I'm like, I love that Elvira's kind of had a resurgence again. You know, and there's just some other things that I missed. Like now I'm like, can we bring back USA Up All Night?
Oh yeah, I remember USA Up All Night.
She's still looking for a job. Gilbert Gottfried's he'd do it. Like, let's watch All Night again.
Yeah.
Or any of that old shit that those old hosts, like, doesn't even have to be horror. Just give me the old shit.
Well, there's Sven Gulli.
I love Sven Gulli, man. Like, I've been watching Sven Gulli for a long term.
But you know, Joe Bob Christmas special. It was nice way to wrap up 2020.
Yes.
But you go ahead.
So my number 4, and this was tough, and I kind of put this at number 4 because I didn't want to put another TV show or anything back to back. So I did my number 4 as the movie Host. Again, this, you know, like I kept seeing it, and this was filmed during the quarantine. This is also on Shudder. It's only like 56 minutes long. It was all filmed over Zoom, and it's one of the scariest movies I've watched in a long time. The tension is built very, very well, but you've got these like 4 or four chicks that decide to have a seance with a psychic medium lady that said she'll do it over Zoom. And you've got one chick that doesn't take it seriously, but then stuff just happens, dude. And it's nuts, man. And it's
I have heard like nothing but good things.
Oh, have you not seen that yet either?
I still haven't.
Oh, you need to, dude. It's an hour out of your life. That's it. It's just literally an hour. But it was brilliant, and they did it so fast because, God, this came out in July, and so quarantine started in March. They knocked this sucker out, dude, and it's incredible, man. And it's one of those things that everyone kept thinking that it was just going to be another shitty, found footage type thing or whatever. But it was fascinating because it was done all via Zoom, and it was just crazy. It holds 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really? No shit.
Yes. And that was on 62 reviews. This thing it's great. And it's nobody you've really seen before. The acting is just phenomenal. The scares are good and scary. It's a good kind of ghosty demon type thing.
Yeah.
The effects when they happen are great, and there's a lot of recall to Paranormal Activity and things like that, don't get me wrong, like a chair flying out and some things like that, but even those scares are really, really good. But one of the coolest things that I loved is they use that idea that on Zoom you can put a background up. And this one chick, what she did is she was telling everybody, oh, check out my cool background. You can put a video up, and it's her walking around her room and walking into the bathroom and kind of coming back. She's like, this allows me to go do something else. And, my work thinks that I'm there. I'm just busy doing some things in the background. And that comes into play later.
Oh, wow.
It's incredible, dude.
Does the quarantine, does the pandemic, does it play a role in the film at all?
That's why they're doing it. That's why they're doing it via Zoom, is because they're under quarantine. They all live in the same town. They wanted to hang out. That was kind of the thing. So they always hold weekly Zoom calls to stay in touch. But for the week of this one of the people was like, I wanted to do something different, so I hired us a medium. And it's interesting as hell.
I need to check it out then. I definitely do.
Dude, it's it's good. good. And let me see if there's anything else about it that I wanted to talk about. No, but once again, it just showed that being clever enough, man, you can do anything.
Yeah, I mean, a good film's a good film, and I still think the first Paranormal Activity, I still think it's a pretty good film.
Oh, I love all the Paranormal Activity movies. Those things, I love it. I love I love found footage. It gets me every time.
And I have a weak spot for it too. Yeah. I know it's not the best way to tell a story, so to speak.
But I love it because there's no music, so the tension builds differently.
Yeah.
And in a horror movie, because it's all about that music, it's all about this and that. Where in found footage, they have to be way more creative because there is no music. There is no thing because it's found footage. So you have to rely on real tension to make you feel like you're the one behind the camera. That's what makes it work so well. And
I was a big fan of that film, and I think you are too. I think we've talked about it before. I always say the title wrong. As Above, So Below.
That's my favorite found footage movie of all time.
Yeah.
As Above, So Below still scares me every single time. That and the Hell House LLC.
I've stumbled across that and I've wondered.
There's 3 of them. The second one is okay. I haven't watched the third one yet, but man, the first one is spooky as hell, dude. It's good, dude.
And As Above, So Below, I remember first watching it. I watched it, with I watched it with other people. I can't remember who they were.
Yeah.
But that kind of twist where, because it was advertised like, oh, these people are going into the pits of hell.
Yeah.
But that whole twist with alchemy and stuff like that.
Man, it was so good.
I loved that. I thought that was really.
My ex and I watched that. She liked horror movies as well, and we rented it. We rented it from Redbox, and I was like, all right, let's check it out. Let's watch this. So we watched it, and we had the lights on, and it scared the shit out of us to the point where immediately when that was over, I got on Amazon and bought it on Blu-ray. Like, I still have it on Blu-ray, and it's like, if like I have friends over, they're like, oh, let's watch a horror movie. I'm like, I got one. Like, that's the movie I pull out because it's so fucking good. And then like my nerdy friends that are pagan and stuff that are into alchemy and all that weird stuff and cults and just, there's so much good stuff in that movie. I love it because nobody uses that. You know, like I remember not being that. I thought it looked good as far as found footage films, you know. But I mean, when they had that twist about, I believe it's been forever since I've watched it, so you have to forgive me. But like when because this is their talk of like the Philosopher's Stone in it and things like. I loved that. Yeah, me too. And it's funny because I think I've told you this before. I didn't want to watch it at first because I thought it was kind of gonna make witches look bad, because that's something we say is as above so below when we're in ritual. And I was like, here's another freaking witch movie and they're gonna make witches look bad. And I was getting mad. And I don't get me wrong, I like bad witch movies as well, but I was still like, don't use the thing that is meant to be good. But then I was like, after watching the movie, it's like, that doesn't mean that at all. Yeah. I mean, just going down to the freaking the catacombs was already had me at hello. Like it was, and then it was like that little cult ritual thing that was happening where they were like chanting and singing and stuff. I was like, this is scary as shit. Yeah, dude. Because it was done well, where it put me behind the camera and I felt so nervous the whole time. And then of course you've got where they're spelunking a little bit and getting stuck. I'm not claustrophobic, but I do have a fear of being stuck in a cave. Like that's me too. That's like the only claustrophobic thing I have. And so of course, you know, they're like running through that and I'm like but yeah, Host was good too. yeah. Sorry went on that little tangent about how, but yeah, Host is really good. I highly recommend it. It was directed by Rob Savage, and I'm very interested to see him do some more stuff. So, because that was phenomenal. I'll definitely be checking it out. All right. So, what's your number 4 horror? All right, Lord Dickhead. It's Lord Stefan Gerhardt. Thank you. Lord Stefan Gerhardt. I can't think of. I'm too tired to think of anything clever. Not that I could, even if I wasn't tired. But anyway, my number 4 is a film that we discussed, but I don't think you fit. I don't know if you went on to finish it, but I know you told me I did not finish this. But also, I'm not. Listen, we do not have a Shudder promotion. We would love a Shudder promotion, but. The Mortuary Collection. Oh yeah, I didn't finish it. Yeah, and I do love Shudder. Shudder is the best. Dread TV I've tried. It's okay. But yeah, like I screen boxes. But yeah, I tried, and it wasn't even the cheesiness that bothered me. It wasn't even. You told me it was the penis explosion. The penis explosion. I was done. I was just like, I'm done. I don't know why. That's the best part. That made me keep watching it. I don't know why, but I was just like, I was already having trouble sticking with it. And I know a lot of people have put this on their list. I've seen a lot of top 10 lists, and this has been on there. Well, Sam Raimi praised it. Well, of course he did. It had a dick explosion on it. That's right up his alley. I don't know. I mean, and maybe I'll have to try it again and just fast forward through the dick explosion. Dude, it's just, I just, then listen, okay? Whereas you could only kind of, I don't know, go, you know, watch it till the dick explosion or whatever. As much as I love, like, this film, the rest, I hated the ending. I'm not going to spoil it here because I do think it's something we could cover in the future. Yeah, I guess I also didn't like the opening either. Like I really like the dude. He's Clancy Brown. It was the girl that I didn't like. Oh, she's on my nerves, and I'm like, I don't want to hear from her. Like that was part of it too, is that I didn't like her at all, and that already gave me. I was kind of like, ugh. And then when we got into the story, I was like, ugh.
I loved that first story. I liked them. Like they all kind of progressively kind of went lower in quality, but I mean that first story, I loved that first story. I thought it was like, if I had a son and his hormones were starting to kick in and we wanted to have the talk or something, I would definitely be like, let's watch this before we discuss it.
Funny. That's funny.
Because it's my God.
Well, and it's funny too, because like immediately after that, I was like, okay. And so I tried to watch that Danzig Veronica movie. Oh my God, it was even worse. It was even worse. I was just like, what did I get myself into tonight? And so as good as at music as Danzig is as bad as he is at film. He is no Rob Zombie, and I think he was trying to be, and he is not.
Well, Rob Zombie's kind of gotten progressively worse also.
At least he's got some good movies. That movie Danzig made looked like he borrowed a camera from his neighbor and was like, I can do this.
His next one looks kind of interesting though. I may check it out. Something about a vampire in Texas. I don't know.
He lost me. Like Veronica was so dumb.
But this movie, like Clancy Brown is a national treasure.
100%. I fell in love with him in Shawshank Redemption. And
yes,
one of my favorite.
I forgot he was in that.
Yeah,
see
he's one of my favorite actors and voice actors.
See, that's what I think of. He was also the villain in Highlander, correct?
Oh yeah, I always forgot about that. Yeah,
but because I was just thinking about how awesome this dude, how versatile he is, because he's the villain in Highlander. He was in the Mortuary Collection, the Shawshank Redemption.
He's Mr. Krabs, for Christ's sake.
Mr. Krabs! Isn't that he was Lex Luthor?
Yeah,
Lex Luthor.
Yeah. He's one of my favorite actors. Like I said, live action or voiceover, he wins it all. And his voice, I can pick out every.
I know.
Time.
He was just freaking tastic in this. Absolutely fantastic.
He wins my life.
Yeah. God bless you, Clancy. God
Brown. Bless you, Clancy Brown.
Yeah, come on.
Thank you for making it all the way home.
The old country.
The old country. Oh yeah, he was in Carnival as well. Oh God, he's so good. Like there's literally nothing that I dislike of his.
Well, it's just like he's done like a little bit of almost everything, because he's in a Tales from the Crypt episode too.
Oh yeah, he's in everything, man. Like he's my boy. He's my boy.
you're my boy, Brown.
So if you could sum up why you like the Mortuary Collection, what would it be? Like why? Why does that make your top 5?
Well, for one, it was one of the few films that actually like caught this year. I know that doesn't say, but I watched it around Halloween, and I recently rewatched it for this. I don't know, man. I just liked. I don't know. I just liked it. I like it. But I like the cinematography of it. I like Clancy Brown. If that girl really bothered you, then yeah, you probably won't end up liking the film. but like kind of why I didn't like the ending. But I don't know. I honestly probably I loved the first, because there's that like little mini story at the beginning, almost like H.P. Lovecraft.
Which I liked. I liked that.
Yeah. And then there was a story about the exploding penis. I thought that was great. I thought that was great. I was
just like, God, this is so cheesy. And I remember even being like, God, please don't let his penis explode.
Yeah, oh, I loved it. But I don't know. It's just Clancy Brown. This should almost. I don't even know if they should make like a sequel as much as they should like turn it into like a series.
A series like Creepshow.
Yeah, and have Clancy Brown host it. I mean, I could see it definitely.
I'd be okay.
Definitely.
I'd be okay.
Yeah. But yeah, the Mortuary Collection.
Nice. Well, my number 3 is another TV series, and this is probably my favorite TV series of the year. Is Lovecraft Country.
Oh, speaking of Lovecraft.
HBO. Oh my God, Lovecraft Country is good. It's so good. The series is about a young black man who travels across segregated 1950s United States in search of his missing dad. And this year was phenomenal to watch this. The way they set it up, it almost felt like 2 seasons because something really big happens in the middle and continues on and kind of changes the direction of the show. And it's really, really great. There's all kinds of allusions to old like D&D type monsters, like Lovecraftian monsters that show up in this. Because it's one of the reasons I guess the guy wrote the book is, it's really come out over the last, number of years. What an absolute fucking racist H.P. Lovecraft. That's one of the reasons I think that he wrote this was kind of as a way to kind of be like, fuck you, Lovecraft. Here's your stuff with a full black cast.
Yeah.
And it plays into that 1950s segregation. I mean, to the point where Tick, his name's Atticus, they call him Tick. He's the main person. He finds out that he's a part of this like white cult, and like he's an ancestor to it. So he's able to like access the power they want because like many hundreds of years ago, like the main guy in charge of this cult had sex with a slave and she ran off with the baby. And then years later, of course, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. The best part of this freaking show is Journey Smollett, or Smollett. She, you probably saw her when she was young, because I know I saw her when I was young. She was on like Hanging with Mr. Cooper and Full House and Martin, and she was on a bunch of those as a kid, as a teenager, and now she's busting ass. And she was on True Blood as well. She was a series regular on there for a season. She's fucking phenomenal in this. Like,
was she Michelle's friend on Full House?
I think so. Like I said, it's been a minute. I don't remember. But yeah, she's so good in this. And she was in Birds of Prey as well. I don't remember what she played in that though. But yeah, she's so good, man. She was Black Canary. Duh. She was Black Canary in the new Birds of Prey movie. Okay. So Denise Fraser. Yeah. So that was Michelle's friend, because the spinoff, she played the same character on Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was a spinoff.
I didn't either till right now.
Yeah. So, like, one question, because I heard about this a while back, and I haven't seen it. I need to. It's everything really you've mentioned. Yeah.
Same.
So does H.P. Lovecraft? Does he like exist in this universe? Like.
Yeah. In fact, in the very first episode, they talk about it because one of the things about Atticus is that both his father and his uncle both encouraged him to read everything, to read the classics. And he even says to his uncle, hey, how come you got H.P. Lovecraft? I mean, wasn't he fucking racist? Yeah. They talk about that in there. They do. So he does exist. But yeah, there's like Shoggoth monsters in here. There's even like an episode where it's a flashback and you go to the Korean War where Atticus was in because he's a veteran. And so there's some Asian mythology stuff that happens in there. There's like this cool. Succubus there called a Kamiho, the nine-tailed fox, which is interesting because the Kamiho is what there's a Pokemon, I can't remember what it's called, but it's got the 9 tails as well, but it's technically a succubus.
I wonder if Tails from Sonic was based
Sonic,
on that.
yeah, maybe. But the Kamiho's in it. I mean, there's so much cool shit, dude. And then all of this exists on top of this segregation era. And then there's this backstory that exists because his dad and his uncle and his mom and things like that, they all existed during the Tulsa riots in 1921. And so that's a backdrop as well. So there's this heavy piece of racism that exists. Like at one point, Letty, who is the girl I was just telling you about, she buys a house in a white neighborhood, like a big ass house. And so of course you got these dudes like trying to like, you know, they got the cops that are there and everything. I mean, it's just, so there's this like historical backdrop in the midst of all this horror and fantasy, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Sarah and I both loved it. The music is phenomenal. Raphael Sadiq, he did a lot of the music. It's really good. I highly recommend Lovecraft Country for anyone that doesn't or that hasn't seen it. I mean, there's sci-fi in it, there's horror. I mean, it's a mix of everything. It's so good.
I have one question for you about it, and I just want you to say yes or no. Don't elaborate, just yes or no. Cthulhu, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm in. I'm checking it out.
All right. What's your number 3, man?
Strange. Oddly enough, my number 3 is also a television show, and I know you do. You may not remember, but I do. I know you know that I finished this series. But The Haunting of Blymander.
Yes, I almost put that on my list. I almost had that on my list. It was up there like 6 or 7 for sure.
My sister invited me over to watch The Haunting of Hill House.
So the first
because
one.
Yes, yeah. the first one. And because her husband has like a really weird shift. He works, and she's like, this thing freaks me out. I can't make it through the first episode because it freaks me out.
Haunting of the House was scary as balls, dude.
It was. There were some really creepy moments in it.
Good as hell, man.
And
finally,
I like
a faithful adaptation, you know, a lot more than any of the movies.
True. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. It didn't. I don't even want to really undermine it by saying this, but I mean, it didn't like blow me away. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, it did me, but yeah.
But I did like it. I thought it was very well done, and I suggest it for anybody who hasn't watched it yet.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, but she was like, "Don't watch The Haunting of Blymander without me," and I was like, "Oh, I won't." Well, of course, the next day, as soon as I wake up, what do I binge watch the entire day until night? And I don't know, man. If you could look her up, that actress that is the star of it, she is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, she was great. She's been in because I looked her up too. She was in like 1 or 2 of the seasons of American Horror Story. And some other things. I'm gonna look her up while you're talking though.
Well, she's in the first season of Haunting of Hill House also. But I don't know, man. I just like not even so much. And I hate, how I hate talking about this type of stuff. But not even like so much like of the horror or anything like that. It just. Damn, that show got to me.
Yeah. I was wrong. She was not in American Horror Story, but she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She was Lulu. So.
But oh man,
it was a lot more emotional.
Oh my God.
Hill House wanted to be more emotional than it was, but they were really focused on making it scary good.
And there were parts where Haunting of Hill House did get to me emotionally.
For sure. And and same with Blymander, there was a lot of scary shit in there. And I loved that little girl.
Bly, that sounds oddly creepy.
Oh, well, you know what I mean. But yeah, it was good. It was based on A Turn of the Screw, which is a very classic old horror novel. Excellent TV show. And I loved seeing the cast coming back.
Yeah.
Playing very, very different roles. And I really enjoyed that.
But I mean, I cannot just describe how much. Oh, how much the like ending got to me.
Oh yeah.
If you remember, because this is why I said you may remember this, you may not, but I messaged you and Victoria. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I said because dude,
because Victoria hadn't watched it yet. That's why we didn't talk about it.
But it's there's only like a handful of films that make me cry. You know, like none of them come to mind. Honestly, I don't know why. But like Peter Jackson's King Kong, that always gets to me. Good one. But Blymander, man, at the end of it, I was like ugly crying. I was like wailing. And it's like been a while since something has, you know, a film or a show has done that to me. Mm-hmm. And I think that was really what I messaged you and Victoria saying. I just want to see the Blymander. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know how to process.
It was good. It was good. Like it.
Oh, it was so sad.
It's amazing how an entire season is set up to make you feel that final moment.
Oh God! I mean, it was just. I can't.
It was good, and I loved Owen, the cook. He was a great character, and just man, so many twists and turns that make you go, "What the hell is going on?" Like, it was done very, very well. Like, you know, and they weren't trying to copy what they did the season before, and it was just, it was done well. It was really.
You know what? And I might put it up. Against American Horror Story. I might say, because American Horror Story, one thing about it, although I do, you know, American Horror Story, I watched it up until Cult, and then I just kind of stopped.
Yeah, that's where I'm at Roanoke. That's where I kind of slowed down.
Yeah, because it's just, to me, American Horror Story, even though like the first one's pretty good.
Murder House is.
Murder, yeah,
and it scared me. It was excellent.
Well, in Asylum, I mean, I almost can't watch Asylum.
Yeah,
it's almost
good, but it wasn't really scary. Like,
well, to me, it was just too intense. It was just, I'm like everybody else. My favorite was probably Covenant.
Covenant was good, but I'm one of the random few that love Freak Show.
Really.
I
see that. That's when I think it started.
I had just recently watched the original Freaks movie, so like Freak Show came out the next season, and so I was like, oh yeah. Plus, I love what's his name from The Shield and from Fantastic Four.
Oh, Mike Chiklis.
Yeah, Mike Chiklis. He was great in that, and then that freaking dude from Drew Carey's brother, playing that freaking
Twisty the Clown.
Oh my God, that thing was frightening, dude.
Yeah.
Oh God, like I still have like nightmares about Twisty the Clown.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hotel sucked. Like God, it was hard.
Yeah. Hotel had Liz Taylor, and that was about it.
Yes.
Although I do think the guy Evan Peters plays on the guy who owns the hotel. He's based on the real dude. Yeah. I do that. I did find him funny.
Yeah,
I did think
he was.
Evan Peters is a good actor all around.
I like him. I like how weird and goofy he is. Like I thoroughly enjoy him all the time.
Well, and I've always said like, if for some reason, be it whether I finally like cross the border and go on a killing spree or or become famous for some reason, if they make a movie about me, I think Evan Peters should play me.
I'll remember. Okay. He'll have to squat a whole lot, but yeah.
Oh God, I hate you. And with that being said, Stefan,
Haunting of Blymander, yes.
Stefan,
what?
I want to take a break.
Okay. Why do you want to take a break?
Because of, have you heard that the very band that does our musical theme, Nothing Wrong?
Nothing Wrong, that's right. Oh, this would be great. This is a good bonus for 2020.
Because, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, if you like our musical theme, then you are going to love The new single from Nothing Wrong. Follow the Moths.
Oh God, it's good. It's got a little bit of screamo. It's got a little bit of singing. It's got lots of metal. It's excellent.
It's got a little rat-a-tat-tat
on the patty-tat-tat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so this is a really good. It just came out, so it still counts as 2020. But let's go ahead and play that for everybody. Is that cool?
And straight from Nowhere Radio, we've got Nothing Wrong with Follow the Moths.
All right. Yeah, you guys can check them out. They're on Facebook. They're all over the place.
They're on all major platforms. All of them.
Wow. We love them, and we love our musical theme, and we love that as well. So let's continue on. We've got two more each to go. My number two is not a TV show, and it's not a movie. It's actually a podcast, and it's not Fearscape.
Or Mistress of the Dark, the greatest horror podcast in
That's right.
the history of horror
That's
podcasting.
right. This was my favorite podcast of the year. I really like story-based podcasts, so they're kind of like old radio shows and stuff like that. That's the kind that I like, that tell a big long story. Because it is, like I said, it's like Tanis and the Black Tapes and stuff like that. I love those. I love these big long stories. This podcast is called The Left Right Game. And it was spooky good. Like, I was listening to it while I was at work and I was getting spooked out. It's done by Q Code Media, who I have discovered a ton of great podcasts through Q Code Media that I couldn't list on this list, but they have a bunch of really good ones, and they always kind of have somebody famous. Like Rami Malek does one. What's her name from Kick-Ass? Whatever her name is. She's
in the new Tom and Jerry movie.
Yeah, she does a thing called Gaslight, and it's about her joining a cult and coming home after like 20 years of just going off with this cult. Like, it's really good. But this is called The Left Right Game, and it's got Tessa Thompson in it. Tessa Thompson, she was in the Creed movies. She was his girlfriend. She was Valkyrie in the Thor movies.
Yes.
I love Tessa Thompson. She's in this and was a big producer, and this was based off of a story posted on the No Sleep subreddit. He wrote a series of things called Has Anyone Heard of the Left Right Game? And basically, she's a journalist that decides to look into this game, the Left Right Game, which is funny because it starts in Phoenix. And so I'm listening to this knowing that I'm going to be moving to Phoenix eventually. That. And so, like, it really creeped me out. And it's got you'll recognize a number of voices in there that you'll hear. But yeah, it's like basically becomes this paranormal game that leads to like this alternate reality, like essentially and I think we all kind of did this, where we just drive and be like, okay, we're just gonna go left, and then we're gonna go right, then we're gonna go left, then we're gonna go right, then we're gonna go left, and you just do that and see where it takes you. And that's what this is all about. Except for people have disappeared. There are people that we don't know where they are, and there's a guy that's named Tom. I believe his name's Tom, and he sets up
Frisbee.
No, not Tom Frisbee, but man, this dude could be, though. They're very similar. He sets up a convoy of paranormal investigators. Oh, Rob is the guy, led by Rob, to investigate the claims. And so she joins in on this convoy. So there's like 5 or 6 cars. So you got like walkie-talkie action happening the whole time. Plus there's a side story that's happening because she's disappeared. And so her friend from college is trying to find her. So there's like these 2 things happening back to back, and it's kind of a found footagey type thing too. But it's really great. And when they get into the Left Right Game, when they start getting into when reality's changing around them, it's scary, dude. Like, it's really good. Is really good.
I remember you talking about this, right at the beginning.
It's 10 episodes, and it's really great. They use that audio panning so that you can feel things all around you, like a surround sound effect. So if you listen to this, I highly recommend headphones. Not really a good one to do while you're doing dishes, unless you got headphones on. I highly recommend that. And I've recently found out that Amazon has secured the rights to it. So I'm hoping to see a real TV show, and Tessa Thompson's gonna be the executive producer on that too. So
nice.
I want more info on it because it's so freaking good, man. And it's just scary, and like I'm like, ooh, because we used to do shit like that all the time. I love urban legends, man. I love shit like that, and that's what's so great about the No Sleep Reddit and creepypastas and things like that, is we're creating new urban legends all the time, and it's fascinating. So yeah, that's my number 2.
But
go ahead, man.
I'm sorry, Lord Stefan, but no, I agree. I've especially since this pandemic, when there's nothing much to do. I've become obsessed with like creepypastas, and I'm a really big fan. I honestly wish I would have put it on my list, but I don't know why I didn't, but the Something Scary podcast network, they got some really awesome stuff over there. As far as telling scary stories, they've got they've got Chilling Tales for Dark Nights.
Yeah, I've got a lot. I listen to a lot of those. Yeah.
Otis Gyrie, Jason Hill. They're all great.
Cool. Well, that's my number 2. So what's yours?
Well, my number 2. I know for some people I might be this might be kind of a stretch as far as like the horror world or whatever like that. And I'm pretty sure you probably heard about this because we're both wrestling fans. We're both professional wrestling fans. But my number 2 is The Undertaker's retirement.
No, yeah.
Did you see that? Did you watch it?
I'm a wrestling fan, but I'm definitely old school now. Like I've gotten out of the newer stuff, so no, I didn't see that. But.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the Undertaker. Him retiring. I mean, Undertaker's been around for 30 years.
Yeah, he's
and of course
one of the last remaining people from the 80s days.
Yeah, and even though we were led to believe in some ways that he was going to retire 5 years ago, 10 years ago, he
retired a bunch.
Yeah, this time I guess he really meant it, and they had a whole big ceremony for him and everything. And I don't know. I went into this. I'm not gonna go. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. I went into this a little bit on the antagonist, but the Undertaker is one reason I love professional wrestling, because I growing up as a little kid obsessed with horror movies and comic books and things like that. I remember I remember I got into wrestling about the same time probably a lot of other people did, around the Attitude Era or whatever. And I was hearing about, and as much as I love the Stone Cold too, I was hearing about Stone Cold. And then I come across it one day, and there's this dude called The Undertaker who is wearing this black cape and is talking about being the Lord of Darkness, and it has this awesome theme music. It has this brother who is hideously disfigured and wears a mask. And I was just like, oh my God, you have me at hello.
I remember because I was watching in the 80s and early 90s before the Attitude Era, and I remember when he premiered, and we were like, what the hell? Isn't that Mean Mark?
Yeah, is that Mean Mark? Yeah. Yeah.
And just creepy dude, and freaking Paul Bearer. God,
Paul Bearer. Well, that was something that was something they had at the ceremony. As before he he came out to the ring and did a little speech. It was at Survivor Series, because that's where he debuted, was at the Survivor Series, and he did a speech and everything, and they had a hologram of Paul Bearer that he did, because Paul Bearer would hold the urn, and he would kneel and
did it come out that later on that Paul Bearer was him and Kane's dad and stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, Kane's dad, but yeah, man. I mean, it's just, man, what a. I just thought it'd be a shame not to mention it, in some form or another, because I mean that dude.
No, that's a perfect. I've said before that I would love for us to cover the history of Undertaker and Kane on this show sometime, just that the story, and bring on Brad, to talk about it all. I think it would be a lot of fun, man. I love Undertaker, and just Mark himself. He's just a great dude.
I mean the Undertaker. I mean, if you don't think the Undertaker's horror related, I mean he had back in the early 2000s or something. I mean, he had his own freak, and you can look it up. He had his own haunt at Universal Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah.
He had it under
books and everything.
Oh yeah. I loved the comics.
Me too. Like being obsessed with like horror and stuff when I was a kid, I absolutely loved Undertaker, and I loved that whole gimmick that he was undead, he couldn't die.
Yeah.
And every time he wrestles somebody like Hogan or anybody, you're like, it ain't gonna work, dude.
No,
don't come back. Don't care. He's gonna bury you alive.
He is. Yep. Sad we won't get that dream match between him and Sting though.
No, or Snoop.
That would have been. Oh, what's your number one?
All right. So my number one is this movie. I almost didn't watch it. But then I was bored one night and I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and watch this. And it scared the nuts right off of me, dude. I still can't find them. It's a movie called His House. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Let me process that. I don't know. Here, let me check my mouth real quick.
And it's funny because the reason that I decided to watch it, and it's on Netflix, by the way, I highly recommend watching it, was that Matt Smith, who played, one of the doctors on Doctor Who, was in it lightly. And I was like, okay, I like Matt Smith. I'll check it out. But it is the story of a refugee couple from South Sudan struggling to adjust to their new life in a British town that has an evil lurking beneath the surface. So they're refugees and they're given this just nasty home. They're just like, this is where you got to live. If you don't keep this clean, you don't do this, you don't have a job, you don't do that, we're going to send you back. And oddly enough, the wife in this is Letty in Lovecraft Country, who I've been talking about a bunch. She has a sister in the show, same actress. And so I was like, oh my God. And in one, she's playing this like down home kind of like Josephine Baker type, living the dreams and stuff like that, Billie Holiday type person. And then in this one, she's playing this Sudanese refugee. But it's scary as shit. They were fleeing from Sudan with their daughter. They had to cross the Mediterranean, and like a storm came and like killed everybody on this boat except for the two of them, and this includes the daughter. So it was a really so they already come into this home with like this trauma, and there's this the wife is trying to hang on because she was from a different tribe, I think, than him or whatever, but she talks about in her tribe there was this mythology that existed there, this night witch or an apath, you kind of want to give more away by talking about it, but he starts seeing things in the walls, I don't even know how to say it. It's like there were ghosts in the walls, there were like creatures or something, and so he's like ripping down the walls, and this whole time you're having to deal with the fact that he's trying to become a good Englishman. He wants to become, I keep wanting to say American because it's the allegory fits here too, but it's like he's treated differently even by the black folk in England that have lived there. He was so happy, he's out walking one day and he sees a group of it was either him or the wife, I can't remember, but they see this group of black kids playing and they're making fun of him or her, giving them shit for being refugees and not real black people. It's crazy. And then the wife never leaves the house. She's and she just wants to go back. It's this whole crazy thing mixed in with this story she heard as a kid. And then the ghost of that daughter shows up, and she's in this weird tribal mask. I mean, it's just it's gut wrenching.
What time period does this take place?
It's modern. It takes place
day?
now.
Okay.
It's modern, and he's trying to go, and he's just like, hey, can we move to a different place? All this stuff. And they're like, sorry, no, you have to stay in this for 90 days or a year or whatever it is. And all this stuff. And even Matt Smith's character's like, sorry, dude, he's trying to he doesn't want to say, hey, there's ghosts in the house.
Yeah.
Because they have a board that they're going to have to go to show that they're good citizens, that they're all this stuff. And so his paranoia is getting crazier and crazier, and just all this shit's happening in the house, and it's intense, man. It's scary, it's gut-wrenching, it's heartwarming, it's all of these things mixed up into one all with this backdrop of a refugee having to move to a new country. Trauma that came with them from coming from a war-torn area.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the trauma of everyone around them dying, including that kid.
This is a little off topic, but Matt Smith, ever since he left Doctor Who, he's like popped up in really random stuff, hasn't he?
Oh, him and David Tennant, they both.
Yeah.
And I'm really digging David Tennant as a bad guy. You know, he was the Purple Man in Jessica Jones, and he was bad guy in I don't remember the name of the movie, but like he was like stalking this girl or whatever, and it was really good. And then him as the serial killer, he's really good as a bad guy. And yeah, Matt Smith has been popping up in some random shit too.
He's in what's that show on Netflix? The Crown.
The Crown, yeah. He played.
Yeah, he's Philip.
Yeah,
Philip.
2 seasons. Yeah,
yeah.
My wife and I watched the hell out of that. It's a really good show. But yeah, so that's my number one is His House on Netflix. I highly recommend it. It's a really great movie. It's an indie film, but it's done really well.
And where can you find it?
Netflix.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely. I'll definitely be checking that out.
It's good. So what's your number one?
My number one is kind of a local thing, and I don't mean nowhere.
So in somewhere?
Yeah, in somewhere. When there's nowhere, there's parts unknown, there's nowhere, and then everywhere else is just somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah.
But my number one is a haunt that I actually went to, and I was accompanied by the resident goblin, Sam Toohey.
Oh, that's where you guys came up with the idea for antagonist, right?
Well, the idea of the antagonist that came over a couple of drunken Saturday nights, where Sam would a couple of days later remind me about it when I was sober, and I would be like, "Oh, we what? Okay." You know,
yeah,
this is better than finding out we like made out or something. but and you can actually check out the videos on Misters of the Dark Facebook page and Fearscape Media Network fan group. But the American Horrorplex.
Yeah,
it was a haunt.
Yeah. I was supposed to go, but I had.
You
COVID.
were supposed to. You had COVID. Yeah, I had to lock you up in the.
For way longer than I was supposed to be.
Well. It made you a stronger person. Yes, they were kind enough to invite us, but me and Sam, I mean, to their little haunt in Louisville, and it was really awesome. It was probably, considering how horrible, not how horrible, this pandemic has made everything, but it was probably the best thing to come out of the Halloween 2020.
Because they had to hold off on it to try to figure out how to do it social distancing and all that stuff. They were one of the few haunts that actually opened. And according to you and Sam, they did a very, very good
job. Very, very good job. I mean, that they were really on their game as far as sanitizing and what have you. I don't know. I just really liked this. I've been to a lot of haunts in my day, but as I've gotten older, it's kind of decreased. I mean, I think this may have been the first haunt I've went to in about a year or two. So, but I mean, I was just really blown away by it. And I think I say in the video, our review of it, I loved that it had this like awesome storyline where it incorporated like things like Operation Paperclip and
that I love.
Yeah, it just incorporated all this crazy stuff. And even the little care package, or should I say scare package.
Yeah, because we got to go to an early press only release. So that was
yeah.
They hooked us up with all kinds of stuff. In fact, I have my pen, the bone pen.
Yeah, I'm on somewhere. But it was so awesome because it had a little letter that was from the hospital, and you are cordially invited. It was just really cool.
Fed that because a lot of times the haunts will do a theme. But the way you described it in your videos and stuff like that, this was done legit, and it was not just a loose theme. It was done specifically, and it worked out well.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not discrediting haunts that do, like just have the typical you go to one spot, there's Jason. You go to the other spot, there's Freddy. I'm not discrediting that, but it was just cool to see somebody. It was almost like, maybe I'm going out on a limb here. I don't know. Maybe this will sound kind of pretentious, but it was almost like performance art in a way.
Yeah.
Because,
that's essentially what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Us being improvisers and stuff, I could totally, because they've developed characters, the first, this room leads to the next. It had a nice flow, and everything. I mean, the story was kind of out there in the best possible way, but it was coherent.
Right.
And, the people there, they couldn't have been any nicer, any more accommodating. I still kick myself for not, because after me and Sammy came out, the owners and creators, they spoke with us at length, and I didn't have my phone on me or anything to, kind of do a interview or anything like that. But I mean, they couldn't have been nicer. And I look forward to going to it again next year. Maybe, who knows, maybe
absolutely.
A certain brother of mine will be in town around then.
And they're still pretty newish, maybe the last few years.
I think that may have been the second year that they've done it, I believe.
Yeah. We were looking at them as potential sponsorship for the radio station at WCHQ, but we just lost communication type thing. But they're great. They do a thing too on Valentine's Day weekend called Eat Your Heart Out. And it's an attraction just for the weekend. Hope they get to do that this year. That would be super cool.
And if the man with no name will definitely be there if they got that going on this year.
Yeah,
definitely.
So the American Horrorplex. You can check out information on them at AmericanHorrorplex.com. It's in Louisville, Kentucky, off of Northwestern Parkway. I hope that if I happen to get there during a time they're open, I would get to go, because just watching you and Sam made me super jelly.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. We took like I said, you can check out our review on the Misters of the Dark Facebook page, but also like another thing that was kind of funny about it, because I didn't bring my cell phone with me, and Sam was like, "Why don't you bring your cell phone? Because don't you want to get some shots?" And I was like, "Well, I don't want to spoil the surprises and things like that." And but the owner was like, "Did you bring any like cameras or anything like that? You could I was like, "Well, I don't want to see people how the sausage is made." He's like, "No, that's why you're here. We want you to do that." Like, okay, and Sam,
absolutely
being the intelligent one, brought it. So we definitely got some shots of us going through it.
Cool, man.
Yeah, it was great. It was great though. It was definitely like, because I'm sure probably like you, none of us got to, do anything this Halloween. And it was fun to say, well, I did that. So,
right.
Right. That and the Mortuary Collection.
Yeah, and Mortuary Collection. Get out of here. Let's get out of here. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and get out of here. That's essentially our top 5 apiece for 2020.
That is the hit list.
That is the hit list. Make sure to check out old episodes of Misters of the Dark. You can go to fearscapemedia.com/MotD podcast. While you're there, you can also check out The Antagonist and Fearscape, 2 other great shows that are on there. But in the meantime, share this with all of your friends. Tell everybody about your show.
Dear friends, share our show with your dear friends.
Exactly. Yes. So, but we gotta go.
We got some killing to do. And with that, dear friends, we come to the end of another delightfully disturbing episode of Misters of the Dark. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you to the Fearscape Media Network. And thank you to Corey Adams and Ashley Jones Adams from Nothing Wrong for our musical theme.
All right, Lance, the pink hearse is all packed up and ready to go.
But before we go, dear friends, we'd like to leave you with this. We, the Misters, realize this year has been hard.
For all of us.
But no matter who you are,
or where you come from,
you always have a room at our dilapidated mansion. Good night.
Good night, everybody. All right, Lance, come on. I've got some human jerky for the road trip.
Whoa, me first.